Alright, can everyone hear me? Yes, okay, all can see the screen as well. Okay, cool. So, hi everyone, I'm Chi Ching. I started off as graphic designer, but now I'm a senior art director in the agency. Let's treat this as a session of discussion. Don't need me to actually speak everything, but if you have any question along the way, maybe you can keep first and leave it to the Q&A later. So before I start, maybe let me just ask you whether you know the difference between a graphic artist and a graphic designer. Does anyone want to take a guess? Okay, if you're writing in the chat also, I can't really see, but let me just bring you through. Okay, so the difference between a graphic artist and graphic designer, for graphic artists, right, their art feels no external needs, so which means their art stems from their personal opinion and a lot of their own ideas. So it's a lot of self-expression, and it's actually challenging the viewers, like what do they think about this piece of art. But as for a graphic designer, design is there to fill a need. You're a visual problem solver. So if you're given a brief, you're actually being asked to decipher the brief and actually come up with a solution for it. So for example, here is like a branding which goes across like from logo to even like a space design or a website design, name cards. Okay, so now if you ask what do I do from day to day, let me just use a myth that probably many people would actually assume what a designer do, is that I wait for creative ideas to come to me magically. Which creative ideas don't come just like that. I have to understand the client's brief, and with lots of research comes an insight and piece them together to become an idea. So let me give you an example here. So the client's brief is a developer and they want a new concept and a branding for a new phase for this particular property, for example, in Rawang. And so the team came up a research, and they have to do a lot of research and then finally land in this one insight, which is pigeons, unlike some other species of birds, and they don't migrate or remove from a certain area, and they actually are able to return from a long distance. And so this is the mood board that we come up with based on that insight, which is finding something that represents the pigeon, whether is it feather, something that represents a pigeon home, whether is it the bird house, like hanging on a tree. And then this one we came into a logo design that actually represents the client's brief, what we found, and the mood board that we also compiled. So there is a certain process to a design. The second myth is you just create pretty or cool visuals every day. Pretty and cool visuals also come with a lot of planning. There's plenty of discussion between a graphic designer and a copywriter, and sometimes even with the client before creating a visual to ensure the visual answers the brief. Okay, so graphic designer is the one that actually developed the visual. Copywriter is the one who writes the copy. I will give you an example. So the client's brief, this client is a syrup brand. It's called Moon in Asia, and they want people to know how versatile this product is, which is yuzu. So what goes behind the planning is the beverage director will have to come up with a recipe, and then they share with the team, and the team have to come up with a mood board, the photo shoot, to designing it and copywriting it. So this is the shot that the team have to shoot. The beverage director made the drink, and the graphic designer actually photographed it. And then it turned into a visual with have copy with the context, the idea that we want the people to receive. So the copywriter will come out with a copy, and then the designer will actually lay out with typography. So yeah, there's a lot of planning going behind the visual because the whole purpose is to answer the client's brief. And that's it, the day-to-day tasks that I do as a senior art director. So next, I'll bring you through what to expect in the graphic design course. Number 1 is you'll be learning design software skill and design theories. So some of the fundamental knowledge such as color theory, typography, layout, and a lot of the software skills that will help you achieve the visual that you envision. So here are the list of software that I've learned since my college until today. I still use it. That's about like 10 years already. Photoshop and Illustrator is a lot on photo montaging and layout design. Lightroom, After Effects, and Premiere Pro is a lot of animation and video editing. Number 2, you can expect 80 to 100% assignment-based projects, and sometimes it's in teams, because honestly, there's no better way to develop the skills other than practicing. And in this field, you usually work on the brief as a group. So this is where you can gain experience in working with others, and there will be a lot of feedbacks and constructive criticism given during your group discussion. So it's good that you learn to work with different kinds of people. Number 3, you will learn a lot of self-development and get tutor guidance as well. So in your college day is a perfect environment to make mistakes. That's where you will receive feedbacks from your peers, from your lecturer, and learn new things. And most of the time, the lecturers already have experience in industry, so they are actually there to inspire you to be the better version of who you already are as a designer student. And they will actually give you proper feedback by telling you what actually works and what doesn't work in the industry. So really, as a student, make as many mistakes as possible and learn from it, because that's the only time you get to not pay for the mistakes you did. Okay, it's very different when you come to work. And number 4 is final exhibition at the end of your course. You should be able to have a good amount of portfolio that represent your skills, and you can present and showcase your work to agencies or creative studio who attend the exhibition, and it's the great time to impress potential employers. And what's next as a career path? There's 2 sides actually. So you can either be jack of all trades or master of one. Okay, what do I mean? So jack of all trades is like a graphic designer, an all-rounder graphic designer, to be able to do everything required of a brand, from branding to website design to photography and to videography. And sometimes you even need to make things move like animation. Okay? Whereas for master of one, you're specializing in one skill. You can either be a branding designer, a web designer, a motion designer, photographer or videographer, and UI UX designer is more on the app design. Okay, so yeah, or some will start off as jack of all trades and go to master of one. Some will start as master of one but want to expand to jack of all trades. It really depends on which one you are more inclined to start with, and you will always be able to change because it's something you can always learn along the way.
I would say graphic designers is in demand now. I think a lot of agencies are also looking for graphic designers. In terms of the rate, it really depends on the company, but I would say starting rate should be about 2.5, roughly 2.5. It also depends on the company that you're looking for. Maybe creative studio might be slightly lower, but no lower than 2.2, I would say. It also that a lot of factors actually affecting it, also depending on the skills, depending on the employer's ability to hire your hire your skill. Yeah, so I think right now, yes, it's in demand. A copywriter will write the copy, but remember just now when I shared, before even going into creating the visual, there's a discussion between the copywriter and also the designer to really discuss like how to approach this visual. Like, should it be just be a visual of for example, a bottle showing the product? Like, should there be more? What is it that we want to tell the people? And there's actually quite clear role in terms of what the graphic designer do, what the copywriter do, or I think there's another department in the company depending on your company. Mine will have a strategist, meaning they will be the one who understand the client's brief and also debriefing the team on what client wants, and then we will all discuss together on how to approach it. So there will be a creative mind there, which is yourself, maybe graphic designer and the copywriter, and the strat is there to sense check whether we're in the right direction. Sometimes creative mind can just go super wild and like do amazing things, and then strategist is there to like, hello, I don't think I can afford this or like can do this because of the brand, understanding where the brand is coming from. So then there's about at least three parties involved to actually ensure that the visual come out in the right direction.